Special broadcast on-site, on location, live for CBA's Giving Day. And my special guest today that will be sharing the picture with us here around the world is Matt Keough, the president of Christian Brothers Academy. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing great today, Dan. Thanks for coming to CBA today. We appreciate you having here. Very proud of all the things you're doing, some amazing things you're doing out there. Just proud of who you are and what you're doing in this community. So thanks for coming back to your alma mater and being here today.
Well, thank you. And we could tell you that, I can tell you that everything that CBA was education-wise and everything I took away from here, that has always been the standard, right? But the evolution, I will tell you that I wish this was my cafeteria. And I will say that so the facilities and the upgrades and the things I'm seeing, and the store as well. I remember walking through here for the ring ceremony for football and for the state championship, and just seeing and wanting to just, kind of stop over and get something on the way. So there's been a lot of upgrades and a lot of things that have happened over the years at Christian Brothers Academy, but the education has stayed pure to that mission of making sure we're prepared, and I definitely, as we talked about off the air, was prepared to head to college, so thank you for that.
Yeah, of course, and we want to continue to grow as an institution, and we're always challenging ourselves and pushing ourselves. The other aspect is that we always want to remain responsive to students' needs. So as you walk around the building, certainly we're not a factory that produces widgets, right? We're a educational institution that responds to unique students' needs. So as students' needs changes, we try to change as an institution. So, the hallmark of CBA's Lasallian Catholic education remains the same, and the same values that you learn here and work habits that you learned here remain consistent. But we continue to upgrade our facilities, to continue to upgrade different aspects of the school to make sure we're responding to students' needs in today's day and age.
What is it about Christian Brothers Academy that was so enticing and a draw for you? I know we were speaking off the air about your journey here, but what really made sense to you about being a part of this mission, a part of this group, and a leader at Christian Brothers Academy?
So I think one of the differences about CBA is it's about the heart, right? And that's where we start, right? It's about touching hearts of students, right? And, I think what's attractive to CBA is, how do we help young people grow into the best version of themselves, right? And it combines that whole person. It's not purely academics, right? And academics are obviously extremely important to the CBA experience, but it's combining academics with also a faith background, a strong faith background, a commitment to serving others, a commitment to community, and really educating the whole person. And I think that's what truly makes CBA unique. People come here for all types of reasons. I kind of use the phrase, you enter through your own door, but you leave through our door, that Lasallian Catholic education of combining both that academic rigor, but also the education of the whole person, and leaving this place trying to make a positive impact on those around you in our community.
You talk about faith, and it's always been paramount to me, and a really big reason why I started my company was that in the world of the media, you don't always find faith. And to me, I wanted to make sure that God is center in my life, that I want God to be center in everything I do. In the world that we live in today, to be an institution that is unapologetic about speaking on faith and sharing faith and promoting God and something that is bigger than ourselves, and knowing that we came from somewhere, how important is that to you, and do you wear that as an honorable piece of you every day, that Christian Brothers Academy is about faith and God and not shying away from that?
Absolutely. So every class still starts with the phrase and the little prayer, let us remember we're in the holy presence of God.
Yep.
And I talk about that prayer frequently with our students, and the idea of recognizing that you're in God's presence, but recognizing that when you're with others, you need to recognize the presence of God in others. And just that simple prayer, and remembering that simple prayer, and remembering God's presence in yourself, but then remembering God's presence in others, is kind of what the whole CBA experience is based upon, right? So I think there is still an enormous need in society for people to recognize the presence of God in each other, not just people that you're close with, people that you're friends with, but people that you're different with, people that have different interests, people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And so we really try to teach our students to recognize the presence of God, certainly the people you're close with, but maybe more importantly, with people that might be a little bit different. So it's a thing that the world desperately needs, and we take a lot of pride in teaching that. And we hope that we're producing graduates, that are like yourself, that want to make a positive impact on others. So very proud of our faith background, and where we've grown as a school is we really try to make sure that students of all faith backgrounds feel welcome here. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, our mission is to help every student grow in their own faith journey. Certainly, we're a Catholic school and teach the tenets of the Catholic faith, but we also want students of different faith backgrounds to all grow on their own personal faith journey. So, that's an extraordinarily important piece of what a CBA education means, and we hope that our graduates live that in their life.
We're here on CBA Giving Day here in 2022 with President of Christian Brothers Academy, Matt Keough, and myself, Dan Tortora, a graduate, 2003. I sat in this cafeteria when I and one other student accurately predicted that Syracuse would win the national championship in college basketball. And I remember taking brackets from everybody that picked Kentucky and Duke and Ohio State and all of that. And we, for weeks, were called homers. But when Syracuse won, everybody was cheering in this cafeteria, and we weren't getting the credit. So I just want people to know history was made in this cafeteria back in 2003. But to see the evolution of Christian Brothers Academy, what have you been most excited about since you came on campus?
Well, it's really, the conversations like the one we're having today, I think what I get excited about is I get excited about seeing our graduates leave this place, and I get excited about seeing the great works that they're doing throughout Central New York and throughout the country and throughout the world. That truly is what gets us excited, and thankfully we have an enormously strong community, an enormously strong group of alumni that frequently keep in touch with the school, come back and visit. We had a couple of our young college coaches that are graduates of CBA, have brought back teams. I think of Steph Thompson, who's currently at Hobart. 2 summers ago, brought his Hobart basketball team to tour CBA because it was such an important piece of who he was and how he grew up. And we've got many young coaches. Jason Leone does a fantastic job at Oswego State teaching values and commitment, teamwork, all those things that Jason and Steph, that so many alumni do. It's amazing to hear those stories from alums, and we just take an enormous amount of pride with the great things that they were doing in whatever field that they're in. So that's truly what's inspiring, is to really see down the road, and that you hope that you're planting seeds in young people to make a difference and make a positive impact. So that truly is the most inspiring thing that we do here.
You mentioned 2 great people in Steph and Jason. So and a shout out to you both who have been guests on the show, and definitely appreciate everything that they've done in their respective places and what they've done to carry the message here. Why give back? Whether you're an alum, whether you're someone in the community, maybe you're a family that has a student here now, maybe you're somebody that's never connected to Christian Brothers Academy before, but you're at least piqued the interest for some reason, be it athletics or academics, or maybe you have a student that's looking for a place to go. Why give back to CBA?
So one thing that we've been successful at transitioning to, about over 43% of our kids receive financial aid. It is extraordinarily important to us that CBA remains accessible for families from all economic backgrounds. And in Central New York, that becomes more and more challenging each year. And we are very conscious of where we set tuition, that we try to minimize tuition increases, that we have financial aid to support families. Our tuition is currently about $12,000. It costs us about $14,000 to educate each student. So each year we have to raise those additional funds. And like I said, we're just very conscious about tuition, and we also are continuing to try to offer financial aid. I stand in front of parents, and I always tell them that I'm going to try my absolute hardest to make sure that finances aren't the reason your child can't attend CBA if you're well qualified. We want every well qualified student that wants to attend CBA to have an opportunity. And we can't do that without the support of our alums, of our parents, and of generous benefactors to the school. So you're truly making a difference in a young person's life, and you're making an enormous difference on society, and we couldn't do it without those supporters.
You spoke about the fact that if someone meets the qualifications to come in, you don't want the monetary side of it to hold them back. What are the qualifications? Because I know going through it that it's like applying to a college before a college. So bring me into that. How Christian Brothers Academy has a standard that's been created here over time and over decades, where to get in here you get excited about the acceptance letter here before the acceptance letter in college.
You do. It's a great thing, and one of our alums, Al Kutri, helped produce a video earlier this year of that experience, and it actually came from a good friend of mine who had a neighbor that walked over to his house and showed him the acceptance letter to CBA. And as an alum, he was tremendously proud of that experience, of that excitement bringing to kind of the next generation. It was just a really neat conversation that I had with that alum. And there's that excitement of getting that letter still and being accepted into Christian Brothers Academy and what it means and the opportunities that come with that. And it is, we look for those kind of predictors of success during that process. And there's a lot of predictors of success. Certainly grades, the greatest predictor of academic success is academic success. So, it sounds silly, but, grades are the way to ensure your future, right? Yeah. And so, certainly the grades piece. But then I'm always looking for what are those other indicators, right? I pay attention to, who shows up first to the entrance exam. I pay attention to all those little things, feedback from open house tour guides. All those little things, can we find that little piece that might be a predictor of success? So, we're looking at the big picture of grades and attendance and things of that nature, but are there hidden pieces of success and predictors of success that we can notice that might give a student an opportunity to change his or her life?
Once they're here at Christian Brothers Academy, the extracurriculars, the different ways that you can get involved beyond the world of sports as well. I was very involved in peer ministry. So just speak to the different opportunities that people have here to get to know who they are, what their passions are, so that when they do move forward to college, they have a better understanding of what they really want to put their energy into.
Mm-hmm. So we want every student to find their passion, right, and their purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's first helping students and young people discern their passion and their purpose. And then it's helping support them in their passion or purpose. And I'll say this, the other piece as well is trying to teach and educate them to also respect other people's passion and purpose. So all of that it comes through in the CBA experience, from helping young people find their passion or purpose, whether it's playing clarinet in the band, whether it's being part of Model United Nations, whether it's being part of chorus, whether it's being part of one of our athletic programs. There is no hierarchy in gifts and talents, and that's, we try to make that clear to our young people here. There is no hierarchy in gifts and talents. Find your passion. We're going to support you in developing your passion. Do it to the best of your ability and be really proud about that and about who you are. So, and like I said, the second piece is also respecting that in others and supporting others. That's why, my message to the football team during their run to the state championship is, I'm proud of you, but you better also come back and support all these other programs like they've supported you throughout this championship run, because that's what it means to be part of a community, is to support each other, support the various gifts and talents and interests. So, we try very hard to make sure that we're responsive to what students' passions and interests are, help them grow in their passion and continue to build their skills in that particular area, but then also teach them to make sure we're supporting each other.
And it kind of going off of that, equality and inclusion, making sure that everybody feels that we are on the same playing field, and that if someone's in peer ministry or someone is on the basketball team or someone's playing clarinet, that everyone feels a part of this community equally. How do you express that to the student body, and how do you make sure that that's something that we're kind of checking and balancing?
Sure. So it starts with little things, and there's subtle messaging to students, and there's little things we try to do on a daily basis. The first, something as simple as dress code, right? Dress code, which universally for the past 100 years, every student, when you're going through it, nobody likes the dress code. But what it does is everybody walks through those doors wearing the same thing, and you are judged on who you are as a person, not what you're wearing on the outside. So that message to young people, sometimes implicitly, that when you walk through those doors, who you are on the inside is what's the most important, not what you're wearing on the outside, not what sport you play, not what club you're involved in. Okay, it's truly who you are as a person is the most important. So there's subtle messaging like that. There's very intentional messaging. If you look at our front hallway that we redesigned, much of it is designed to be able to recognize students with all different passions and interests. There's a screen when you walk into the academic hallway that each day is updated, recognizing different students. And the reason why that's there, is certainly to recognize the high-profile things that often get a lot of attention, but it's also to recognize the student who won a math competition the day before, the student who was just in a musical outside of school the day before, the student that volunteered in a service activity the past weekend. So it's also to recognize that, you know, those students who their activities outside this building are aligning with the values we're trying to teach, and trying to inspire other students that this is what it means to be a part of CBA. So, you know, there's a lot of little things that come into play of how we kind of develop that and how we educate that piece of it, and make sure that, you know, when you walk through those doors, you know, you're cared about for exactly who you are, and there is no hierarchy in terms of the gifts and talents that you're bringing to this place.
And we spoke off the air too about passion and how teachers, how when you have really an adult that is within anything, be it a coach or a teacher, whoever it may be, someone who is so passionate and so excited about something that it brings it out in you, that I still remember those teachers. I remember what classes they taught. I remember what rooms I was in, and I remember coming back here to visit and going up, whether they were here or not anymore, because some of them have retired, and just touching the door. Because that room, there was things that happened in that room, conversations that changed my life. You know, Miss Goulet will always be somebody that's changed a lot of things for me in the most positive way. Miss Quilty and all the conversations I remember one of the conversations we had my graduation year, and that will always stick with me. So there's those moments and those smiles and those conversations where maybe you didn't agree and you learned something. Maybe they taught you something, maybe you learned something. I was here in 2001 on September 11th, and I remember walking the hallway. I remember everything that day. I remember what class I was in. I remember I was the one that plugged in the cable on the TV when I asked the teacher if we could watch it. And I remember walking down an empty hallway. And I, in a very interesting way, when the state champion football team was honored recently here, I walked up that same hallway. I was by myself. When I came up the stairs, I got down on my knee and I said a prayer. And as I was getting up, right down, like the first person that came out of the door in this empty hallway was Mr. Roach, who was my economics teacher. And we got to sit there and talk, and I looked at him, I said, "You remember me?" He said, "Of course I do." And we had a great conversation, and I said, "You're still the only person in a full suit and dress shoes to defeat me in one-on-one basketball," which I'm not okay with, because I played all my life. But there's something about a place where you can remember those moments and you can go right back to them. I mean, I even walked over and showed him, I said, "This is my locker." So CBA makes a difference, and I think not just on Giving Day, but all the time, it's important to reflect and not only give monetarily, but to come back and to be a part of this and to make sure that our community is always growing, never shrinking.
No, exactly. You know, we're blessed with an amazing faculty and staff. They just do a tremendous job, and have really embraced the LaSallian mission, and the Christian Brothers have done a fantastic job as well of making sure that the mission is shared with lay partners, and that's been a big part of what the Christian Brothers have done. And it's a beautiful thing, because it's never truly, it's never about, we would all want more brothers and more vowed religious and more priests, but it's also about, you know, how does the mission continue, how does the work continue? And our faculty and staff go above and beyond to make sure that the mission continues here and fully believe in the LaSallian mission. You know, I do a survey each year, and each year just about 100% of our faculty and staff call their work here a vocational calling. So, you know, to view what you do each and every day as a vocational calling here, you know, that's how important this education is and their role is. So we really have tremendous faculty and staff, and we really view it as, you know, life is challenging, and as young people, you're going to face many challenges, and our responsibility is to be that safe place and to help you navigate those challenges, whether it's 9/11, whether it's the passing of a family member, whether it's a health situation, whether it's being cut from a team, whether it's any of those things, right? In life, you're going to face a lot of challenges, and, you know, how do we teach young people to deal with adversity and to deal with those challenges? You're not going to avoid them in your life. So how do we support them in that, right? And remaining faithful and remaining committed, and all those life skills that are so necessary to get through those challenging times in life. And so as you reflected on 9/11, you know, it's a beautiful reflection, and it's absolutely what we try to do here each day. How do we support young people in navigating those challenges? Because you're going to have them when you leave, and nothing's going to be perfect, but how do we support young people? So really, as you said, we have an amazing faculty and staff, and you know, when people give to CBA, you are supporting, you know, those values and these young people that walk these hallways, and future young people that will walk these hallways, of making sure that this mission continues.
That coming from Christian Brothers Academy President Matt Keough here on site, on location of a very special wake-up call with Dan Tortora here at Christian Brothers Academy. I think that there's only one fair way to end this, as every class I've ever had ended this way. So, St. John the Baptist de La Salle,
Pray for us
live Jesus in our hearts.
forever.
We'll talk with you all soon. God bless, be safe, and make sure to give back. From Christian Brothers Academy, for Matt Keough and myself, Dan Tortora, we thank you.